always a treat to talk with Hall of Famer Craig Biggio. And now as the years tumble by, Bidge, and we rack our memories for things back way when you were starting your career, and even before then, I think about Joe Morgan in the early days of the Astros, a second baseman who went on to the Hall of Fame, and then yourself. And I know you and I both thought a lot of Billy Doran, too. There have been a lot of guys to look at this position.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I mean, you look at the history of the Houston Astros. We've had a pretty good run at some solid second basemen over the history of our franchise. And and Billy Doran for me is dear to my heart, just from what he did for me and how he tried to help me help me out as much as he could once the transition was going to happen. It just speaks volumes of who he was as a person and what he meant to our organization.
As we look at Jose Altuve now, who's been a second baseman his whole life, different for him, and as you've watched him develop since he came out in 2011, what has been your thinking from seeing him originally to what he's become?
Well, I mean, he's like I love Jose. He's a great kid. As you know personally. I mean, the fans get to know somebody on the field. They watch a player and what they can do, and then there's always the side off the field. And Jose, I remember watching him on field 4 in the backfields in spring training, and watching this kid play, watch this kid just go about his business day in and day out. And then I was like, wow, man, this kid's really good, man. It reminds me a lot of like a Phil Rizzuto type guy, body size, height wise and this and that, and had power, had speed, catch the ball, steal bases and stuff like that. And then he gets the call up to the big leagues, which was an exciting day, obviously, for him and his family. And then watching him evolve in 2011 to the player that he is now has been so much fun to watch, because, it's just like a lot of other kids coming up to the minor leagues. You grind, and then you watch him develop, and then you watch him take off. It's like a racehorse, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the racehorse is good when he's young. Then he gets into that maturity age, and then all of a sudden he just takes off. And what is he got? 2 batting titles or 3 batting titles, 1 Gold Glove. I mean, he's been so instrumental to our organization in the success that we've had. And he's been a lot of fun to watch.
Both of you guys added power to the great hand-eye coordination you had to just pepper hits all over the ballpark. And you both use that leg kick to give more of your weight into the swing. As you've seen him develop power, did you see that in him the first few years of his career?
I didn't really see it. I didn't see the power, going 25 plus home runs a year. But I think sometimes, the power comes a little later on in life, later on in your career. And I think you look at a lot of players historically, like the power numbers may be a little bit lower in their first couple of years, because you're learning the league, you're learning the pitchers are making adjustments to you, catchers, umpires, the whole thing. And then all of a sudden it just hits. And then Jose with the power, he was like, 10 to 14 or 15 a year, right? Playing at Minute Maid. And then he went to the 20s, 25s. And then he had his, the batting title years and the power. I mean, he's a monster, man. I mean, when he walks into the box, he might be 5'8", but he hits like Aaron Judge, who's like 6'8", because he can beat you in so many different ways. And the power, just like the home run he hit off of Chapman in the playoffs last year. That wasn't just a homer. That was off those board. That's a long way off a guy that just throws 101 miles an hour. So he's been fun to watch, man.
And whenever it is, and we hope it's no time soon, that he does get to the end of the line, and hopefully we'll have those great honors waiting for him, like you have had. But we'll have these images, of a second baseman who's always dirty, who's diving for balls, who's doing it, and it's a neat position, I think, for fans to watch as far as the player's engagement and how much he has to want it on some of those diving stops to the backhand side.
Well, there ain't no doubt about it. There is nothing. I mean, I think if you talk to any infielder, you like to get your hits. You like to hit a home run or a game-winning hit or something like that. But to be able to make an incredible defensive play, it's so hard to do. And the great ones make it look easy. And then when you sit there and get the opportunity to watch Jose Altuve, just not just offensively, but defensively, and watch him do his magical, his wizardry with his glove. It's a lot of fun to watch. Like, I'm not a guy that would pay money to go watch a lot of guys play, but he's a guy that Jose is a guy that I would take my kids to go pay and sit in the stands and watch this guy play and say, hey, listen, watch this guy play the game, man. He plays the game the right way, and then you watch him make his plays defensively and what he does. It's artistry.
That's Craig Biggio on Jose Altuve. Thanks, Bidge, for the visit.
You got it, Brownie.